So I'm driving, so I feel like I need to record because when I drive, I get these random thoughts. Thinking about some ventures I want to do in my life because I'm one who is not always settled. I probably got life ADHD. I always want to try something, do something. But you got to really think about this kind of stuff. Me being an avid trying Christian, trying to live my life right, trying to get better with it and everything else. I'm a firm believer, and I tell God this all the time: I am nothing without you. Therefore, I feel like the things that I need to do, I got to be sure God is okay with it. So I guess that's why it takes me a long time, because then I got to get in that quiet place, and my life is so busy and hustle and bustle and everything else. I find it hard to get in that quiet place to actually hear from God, to make sure what I want to do is okay, so I put it off. It's crazy, but that's what usually happens. And I say, okay, I'll get to it next week when I can get quiet, but it never seems like I can get quiet. But I think that's what do you call the main thing you have to do is get with God, because He's the author of us. He's the creator of us. He's our manufacturer, so He knows what He designed us to do. But once that's all said and done, it's almost like, or before you even get to that, sometimes you get in your own thoughts. And when you get in your own thoughts, it's like, okay, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? How I want to get there? What is this going to cost me? The Bible even tells us, to count up the cost. I guess I'm paraphrasing. I'm not quoting directly, but, it's basically like if you want to venture into something, you need to count up what's it's going to take to get there. If it's going to cost money, if it's going to cost time, and then once you count up that cost, you got to decide, is it worth it? And if it's worth it, then you got to say, am I really going to do this? Am I going to put forth the effort that it takes? And when am I going to start? Because I think one of the biggest weapons of Satan is procrastination. Because he knows if we can just continue to put off, we will never get to the point of succession, and we'll never get to the point of succeeding. We'll never make progress or progression. And I'm just talking. I should go live, but I'm just talking. So I want you guys to think about what it is that you want to do with your life, and what is it going to take to make that move. First thing is I got my daughters, and I always talk to them about doing, sometimes, like my daughter runs cross country, and I always say things like, it's nice, like if you can catch up to that person in front of you, you can almost like run with them, because both of you guys, even though you're competing, you kind of motivate each other, in that spirit of competition, motivate each other to keep going, keep up with each other. You go to the gym, sometimes you want your workout buddy, so when you just don't feel like going, you got that person that calls and say, hey man, come on, get up, let's go. I'll see you at 5:30 this morning, or whatever else. When you do your diets, you lose weight, you get that diet buddy. Just say, hey, how'd you do today? Did you get your 30 minutes in? What you eat today? You guys check in on each other. So I guess my point is, it's nice to have a buddy, or as me and my older daughter was talking about, it's nice to surround yourself with at least people that's going in the same direction as you. May not be the same specific talent or gifting or what do you call that, endpoint, but you surround yourself with a bunch of people that also want to succeed and move forward. We were talking about Central State, and she said she did a little research, and they have I think she said 60% acceptability or whatever the term is, but then she said graduate rate is only 30%. She's like, you don't probably want to surround yourself with that kind of environment because it can take you down. You probably want to be with a lot of like-minded people. I was saying, well, there could be like-minded people there. You don't have to go down with the ship with the people that are not like-minded with you. But sometimes that peer pressure gets hard. That's almost like another subject, because the truth of the matter is, I was trying to get to the point, well, sometimes you got to just self-motivate. If you got a goal you want to reach, guess what? That's your goal. You got to plant it in your heart that I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do what it takes to get there. And if nobody else can do it with me, I'm going to make sure that I go ahead and get started and continue. One of the biggest hindrances outside of procrastination, because if you can get the engine revving, get started, you've conquered the procrastination. But then you got to deal with the continuance. That's hard. Continuance is almost like patience. You have to continue doing what you need to do over and over and over again until you can kind of see a little progress, a little success, and you can see your endpoint becoming closer and closer. Me, myself, it's hard for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard for me to self-motivate because I'm kind of like the social person. I like to be around people, and I like to be like, come on, y'all, let's do this. That's me. So it's hard for me to be a self-motivator. Even with my poetry writing and some performances and music and all like that, let's just say if I was one of those that really worked hard in the studio and everything else, I'd probably have thousands of songs written, thousands of poems written, and everything else. But I don't, because I'm the kind of person that says I'm not going to do it until the opportunity arrives.
Exit the highway in 2 miles at exit 136.
Y'all gotta excuse me, I'm going to get an oil change. So that's my issue. I think one of the key factors is to know yourself, because if you know yourself, then maybe you can come up with a plan to deal with yourself. Like, I know that this is my weak point, so maybe I have to do some things to encourage me in that weakness, or do some things to strengthen that weakness. But yeah, continuance is like, continuance is patience. Patience is an aspect of continuance. You got to keep going until you make it. When I get discouraged a lot, because God has blessed me with multi-talents, and sometimes when I put forth those talents and give my best, I'll look up and I'll be like, I did all this and I ain't even made a step, or nobody's even accepted what I've done, or I got any feedback, or let's just say social media. I've been on for all these years and I still only got 23 followers, or I done had my CD out for so long and they don't even make CDs no more, and yet I'm still stuck with all these because nobody bought them. So those are my weaknesses.
In half a mile, exit the highway at exit 136.
Those are my weaknesses, so now I got to get some foundations around myself to help strengthen me in those weak areas. I got to find some kind of way that when that lull of no progress, nothing's working, I got to have something that says keep going, you know. And I'm always good for being and doing that for others, but it's hard for me to do it for myself. So, you know, we got to break the barrier of procrastination, then get to our continuance, get things in motion, and continue. Now, I can guarantee this one is one of those things, like I can talk it better than I can walk it, but I know truth. And that's one of those things that is very troubling, because when you know truth, but you just don't do truth, then you can't see the result of truth. You'll just continue to see the lie. The truth is, if whatsoever you sow into, that is what you're going to reap. So if you sow motivation, if you sow continuance, if you sow this passion in this thing, and if you keep on going with it, you'll reap the benefits. You'll see the progression, you'll see the reward, you'll start seeing the income closer. However, the Bible teaches us not to faint. I don't know the scripture with that, but I remember back when I was a little younger, watching Creflo. He used to teach faint means to give up, cave in, and quit. So when you give up and cave in and quit, that means that you stop. You're not continuing anymore. You stop what you're doing. So you don't see the progress anymore. Or the progress that you made comes to a stop. And then eventually that progress becomes null and void, because as you stop, everything else keeps going. Next thing you know, you got to start again, but you got to start in a different way, because things have changed. For example, when I did my CDs, I got discouraged because I couldn't figure out how to sell them and everything else. And therefore I ended up, I'll get to it later, and I kept putting it off, and all my progress ended. And the CDs went out, streaming came in. Now I got to figure, I can do this. Now I'm trying to start back up with CDs, and then it's like, what? Ain't nobody buying CDs no more. Now you got to figure out the whole process of streaming, and then you get discouraged because that's a whole new ball game. And then you get there, and then you realize, that's just as much of a saturated market as CDs. How do I do this? I'll just put it off. I'll just wait a little bit longer. We just converse. I mean, I'm not really trying to make any point in particular. I'm just making some points while we're talking and while I'm riding. But, I think we all need to just start saying, and it's never too late. It's never too late to start something. Because here's the thing. If God blesses it, if it's a good thing that you're starting and God blesses it, something that would take you 10 or 20 years to get going, God might put his anointing power on that thing, and it might only take you 2 years. It might take you 2 months. Or he might be like, I've been waiting for you to do this. Now I'm going to put that person in front of you that can put some wheels on your car and make that bad boy run, and you're going to meet them tomorrow. And you could go from, I don't know, I just use the term broke, to an overnight millionaire, overnight, because you got on the path. I believe that when you get on the path that God has designed for you,
Prepare to keep right onto I-76 eastbound after 2 miles.
then I think everything that's supposed to connect with you and propel you forward starts gravitating towards you. And therefore, I don't think that you will fail, because that's what you was designed to do. Maybe a lot of us fail in some of these things because we're doing things that we're not. Okay, here you go. It's like a manufacturer makes a Rolls Royce, right? That Rolls Royce is meant to be driven and styled and everything else, and you just kind of show out with it. But let's just say the wrong person gets a hold of that Rolls Royce and start trying to drive it off road, like he's got a Suzuki or something like that, and next thing you know, that Rolls Royce is just damaged and it's not working right. Well, it's because it's doing what it was not manufactured to do. It's being used in the wrong capacity, so therefore it's not going to work. It's not going to run smoothly, and you'll find yourself keep taking these dives and these stumbles and everything else, thinking, what's wrong with me? Well, you're not even doing what you was programmed to do or designed to do. You're trying to do something else. And if we get into that place where we're doing what God designed us to do, what He manufactured us to do,
right onto I-76 eastbound.
what that DNA inside of us has programmed us to do, then I believe that you'll have a flawless victory in what you're supposed to do. And I don't think that you'll be having any kind of hindrances.
Keep right onto I-76 eastbound.
Let me see. Hold on. I got to make sure I'm going the right way. Okay. I'm pulling in now, so I'm going to have to talk to y'all later. I'm going to post this just to see what people think about conversations. But I tell you what, whether I have one viewer or 2 viewers or 1,000 viewers, if you're watching
Prepare
this,
to exit the highway in 2.7 miles.
sorry,
at
like I
exit
said
16.
earlier, I'm going to get an oil change. If you're watching this, I like to talk. I really like to talk godly things. But most of all, I like to talk topics and have discussions or whatever else. So if you got something that you want to talk about, a comment you want to shoot back, even if it's a disagreement, where maybe I can do a little research and get back to another blog, whatever we want to call these things, shoot it up to me. DM me or whatever they call it nowadays. Look out for some more spoken word poetry. Look out for some more music I'm going to put up. Some few videos. And look out for my artwork. Mini me's. That's what I should call myself. Mini me's, because I'm doing so much. And maybe I just need to narrow it down. Maybe that's another lesson we need to learn. But I'm pulling in now, so I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.